Hello there, my Capricorn collective. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Oh my goodness, Cappies. Whew, let's talk on your energy here for a second. Notice that Nine of Wands. Cappies. Every time I get into your energy, it's really dramatic. It's very fulfilling. It's very unique. It's definitely, for some of you, it needs to be more you focused, even though you probably are like the focus of a lot of people's attention. But it's more about you, what you need, what makes you, what brings you personal happiness and contentment, regardless of the other energies around you. Kind of a selfish, but it's in a very positive way. Any of you that's doing your shadow work, those of you that's really making conscientious choices to make smart decisions, right? Those of you that have established healthy boundaries, maybe a little more, and your cross watchers are noticing this. So it's kind of the good and bad when it comes to the sign of Capricorn, or those that embody the Capricorn vibe. Who's trying to dominate who? Who's trying to take advantage of who? And how does that work? It's an interesting mix. It can go karmic really fast, but a lot of things can. And karmic just means there's a lesson attached to it. So what's the general vibe with you? Yeah, there's like the angel on the left shoulder, the devil on the right, right? So you always got that sort of balance wanting to happen. It can go either way. You choose. It's your choice. But anyone that's in that sort of Capricorn energy, it's your choice. How you kind of move forward. Where you go with it. How you take it. Any manipulation on top of it, right? There's the Ten of Wands there at the Five of Swords. You're all the time met with the competition, whether you realize this or not. So some of you have learned to make smart decisions when it comes to overcoming what you need to, overcoming obstacles, removing obstacles, people, places, and things that don't serve your higher good. So it's either bringing the obstacles in or getting rid of the obstacles. How you sort of embody and encompass that vibe, Capricorn. So that's the energy that I get when I start pulling your cards. And right now I feel like it's not so much of a tug of war. Someone wants that sort of, to bring that to you, but you keep like throwing the opposition in there. So it's a very good, you got a very good offense going against the sort of defensive energies around you. There's a lot of people that like what you do. They want to be in your energy. They want to get your accomplishments. But then they want to just kind of take what they need and then go. Come back, take what they need, and then go. So it's people that deal with you tend to leave with far more than what they came in with. And those of you that are learning to establish those boundaries to overcome those obstacles, that's what makes the difference. Whether Capricorn is your sign or you just identify in the Capricorn energy. Those of you that's doing your shadow work, most definitely. If Capricorn continually shows up in your reads, that's that. It can go either way. It's your choice. And who's leading you and who are you following and how does that go? Leader of the Pack by the Shangri-Las. Listen to that song. It wants to go dramatic. There's so much energy that wants to go dramatic when it comes to you, Capricorn, but you have to be the one to make the choices instead of allowing that energy in. There's a lot of defeatist energy. So the people that you're dealing with, when they can't like overwhelm you or get one over on you, they always feel like this energy. So everyone you deal with comes in with so much expectations, and then when you don't allow that or you don't meet their expectations or they don't get what they were expecting to get, yeah, it's very dramatic. It's very dramatic with you. Well, it's really dramatic with them. Cappies, I don't think you're feeling that drama. Some of you could be in that energy where you are. You haven't quite figured out how to use that sort of Three of Swords energy there. I don't think you're wasting time on people, places, and things that really you're not finding that fulfilling. So that's what makes the difference with you, Capricorn. So you're either bringing on obstacles or you're removing obstacles. It's whatever your choice is. Take what's yours, leave what's not. If you want more positive outcomes, you got to make positive choices. If you want this sort of toxic energy, yeah, just know that who you're dealing with. There's always this energy of trying to one-up you or dominate you or come in and take advantage of you. Crowd on that is the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, allowing that balance. Some of y'all learning to juggle. So Capricorn, some of you tend to be more messy. Some of you are learning to compartmentalize your life. So your work life is your work life. Your interpersonal relationships or partnerships are another thing. And then your romantic life is another thing. Being very mindful of the bleed through energy. Because what is that all about, and what does that change? How does that change the dynamic of the relationship or partnership, right? If you're going to get into business with a romantic partner or a friend, you're still going to have some sort of contract in place. Some of you kind of, it all comes down to this. You have a choice. So it's what you choose, how you sort of play in that vibe. Some of y'all need more of that Libra energy where it's more balanced. Those of you that establish that balance, you kind of bring a hiccup to the whole vibe. Oh, there's that Wheel of Fortune. Again, that balance wanting to come through. And it's always a choice with you, Capricorns. Queen of Swords. There to the Ten of Swords. Some of you, your relationships or partnerships are way too combative. Some of you, your relationships or partnerships are really with people that you shouldn't trust anyway. Julius Caesar vibes. Getting taken advantage of. What's the vibe? What are you attracting? Who are you attracting? What is this about? People don't really walk away feeling like they've accomplished anything, or they walk away figuring out how they can come in and over-dominate the situation. There's way too much of this over-dominating. Those of you wanting to go back into karmic relationships or partnerships, this is the person that comes back around just enough so they can take advantage of you. So those of you that allow that connection to happen, then you just stay stuck or stagnant. Some of y'all, people have more time to figure out how they can come in there and take advantage of you. Work, love, life vibes, Capricorn. It's the energy that you present, and it's the choices that you make. Basis energy, there's the Five of Pentacles. There's the inconclusive Ten of Swords. A lot of you can carry that karmic baggage or have those karmic attachments because you have a lot of people that want to continually come back around. So unless you're like a theme park ride, you choose who you play with, how you play, and what the sort of playing field is. Ace of Pentacles. There's always that accomplishment vibe. Those of you that you deal with people that they come out of a relationship or partnership with you far better than what they came in with. So establishing those healthy boundaries, making those smart decisions. There's definitely an energy of fakeness to this. Now, Capricorn, some of you might come across as rather fake to people, or the way you look at your relationships or partnerships could come across as somewhat fake. Those of you that know the relationship or partnership is fake, you embody that energy. But who is playing who, and why the hell is that even like part of the connection when it comes to you? Some of you, the energy just want to come back in to try to take advantage or try to see where your weaknesses are or where they can kind of take more advantage of you. Those of you that keep going back into karmic relationships or partnerships, they'll fake it just enough to get in there and then create a disruption. It's such a beautiful vibe with you, Capricorns, but it's always choice. One choice here, one choice there. Who you listen to, who's guiding you, where are you being guided to, what's this all about when it comes to you. Ace of Swords here over the Queen of Swords, the Three of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, Third of the World card. Those of you Capricorns that deal with anything online, those of you Capricorns, if you have an online presence, those of you, this is like dating apps, social media apps, anything that you do. Those of you, if you work in the media, that's what you do for work. You can see that sort of division going on, Capricorns. It's always your choice. It's always your choice. And there's always that 50-50 chance that who you're dealing with is going to be a friend or they're going to be a foe disguised as a friend. Right? Over top of all that, there's the King of Wands. You're inspirational when you want to be, but when you're not, you create a hiccup. So whatever you do, you're really good at it. But people definitely want to take advantage of that. If what you do for work, you give advice. If what you do for work, you're like the one in control. You're like the one in charge. You're the accomplished one. And people notice that. They come in to get like free little bits of advice or words of wisdom. Most of them don't want to pay you for that, though. So those are the ones. That's when you have to compartmentalize your life. It keeps things from being messy and complicated. Fucking there you are, Capricorns. So when you're looking for guidance, when you're making your decisions, even you know, you can choose something that's more positive, something that you can see, something that has more transparency to it, or you could deal with basically a wild card. What's important to you right now? What is this all about when it comes to you? Do you need that distraction? Is it a worthy distraction? Is it going to benefit you in any way? Oh, Cappies. All of you, I feel, have experienced that. People leave you with far more than what they ever came to you with. That's what makes the difference. A lot of stuck, stagnant energy as well. So that negative energy's got to go somewhere. Those of you, some of you deal with people that energy doesn't change. It's more like a, oh my goodness, I got to get one over on Capricorn. Or, oh my goodness, what is Capricorn doing now? It's beyond a competitive vibe, and it becomes a little bit more personal. But it is important that you compartmentalize your life, Capricorn. Those of you that are learning that, those of you that went into business or you created some sort of opportunity for a romantic partner or a close friend, family member, only to turn around and get taken advantage of because you did. So now you're learning. There's like contracts. There's like contracts. This is an understanding of what the relationship is, how it is, and that it doesn't go anywhere from that. If they're a friend, they're a friend. Once they become a business partner or once you start working with them, then it becomes a working relationship or partnership. You keep those boundaries in place so that way the energy can't get messy, the energy doesn't get messy. Because it can go either way really fast. So what are you struggling with? What are you struggling with right now? Or what's What's more important to you? There's the King of Cups. I definitely feel like you're open to relationships or partnerships, but some of you, you're going to look at that from a completely different standpoint. With the fact that if you're going to show some emotional connection, that's more vulnerability. And what is it somebody wants? It's never a lack of an opportunity, but damn. Some of you deal with a lot of people who really, they don't show up with much. But when they leave, they expect more. Some of y'all, how many failed relationships or partnerships, how many codependents do you have that aren't really in your vibe right now, but they're still dependent upon your energy. They're still dependent upon your accomplishments. Everyone's got an ulterior motive. Everyone's looking at things differently when it comes to you. And everyone is, there's a little bit of fakeness to this. So that's that rather dominant energy, or what appears to be a dominant energy when it comes to you, Capricorn. You're really not, but you have to be in order to make the decisions that you need to make. It's not sloppy energy. So those that try to create a romantic relationship or partnership to get a payout, you've learned to weed those energies out pretty quick. Definitely very mindful of your family planning, which everyone should be, especially when it comes to smart, healthy decisions. Seven of Wands, there to the Eight of Wands, there to the Two of Wands, there to the Four of Wands, there to the Leo strength. Knowing when to sit your ass down, when to make an offer, when to refuse an offer. Because there's always that relationship or partnership, but someone comes in kind of in wishy-washy energy. Those of you that deal with professional exes, so they have attachments to their exes, to some of you, they're karmics, and they carry that energy into the relationships or partnerships that they have, and there's some things that maybe you should pay more attention to. What's the common denominator in all their karmic relationships or partnerships or attachments? Whether this is friendships, family, romantic relationships, or partnerships. Who always leaves a relationship or partnership with more than what they went in with? And how is that going to factor in when it comes to your relationship or partnership with somebody? It's a gamble, it's a risk. So this is making educated choices. This is deciding what's more important. This is definitely maintaining and establishing those healthy boundaries. So that way you don't allow yourself to get taken advantage of. Especially when you deal with a lot of people who really come in with not a whole fucking lot to offer. But they always leave a relationship or partnership with far more than what they came in with. So, let me upgrade you is their like motto. Romantic with you, Capricorns. Work-wise with you, Capricorns. Life-wise when it comes to you, Capricorns. Or those of you that are doing your shadow work. This is all shadow work energy too. So if you ain't looking at your romantic relationships or partnerships from a different perspective, your business relationships or partnerships from a different perspective, the Wands energy here, how you communicate, what that energy is about with regard to your relationships or partnerships. So some of you could be learning to establish healthier boundaries, maintaining those healthy boundaries, upgrading yourself, taking your time. Because with the Page of Cups there and the Page of Pentacles, you got all these opportunists that's around. But is it really worth your time? Because you got more to lose than they do. That's the whole vibe with this. These are people that come in with like a carry-on, and by the time they leave, they have like 5 pieces of luggage and a big old grin on their face. So you come across as being a provider. You come across as being someone who was a good person to be in a partnership with, whether that's romantic or work-related. But damn, it can go negative. It can go sour so fast. Who do you trust? What do you trust? Those of you, especially with that Hierophant energy. Some of you learning not to mix your personal life and your romantic life. So, well, your work life and your romantic life, your work life and your business life, right? So this is as much HR regulations on things as anything else. And when you're in that Hierophant energy, when you're making smart choices, there are certain things that you need to take into consideration. Those of you, if you work somewhere where you have to disclose if you're having a romantic relationship or partnership with somebody, so that way there's no messiness to it. That way everyone knows. It protects the company, it protects you, it keeps everybody there. Everyone knows what's up, so there can't be no change of minds later down the road. A lot of jealous energy around you, a lot of petty energy when it comes to you Capricorns. It's not lack of opportunities, it's the quality of. It's kind of how you go into things with this Aquarius energy here. If there's no false pretenses, there's no false advertising, there's nothing there that you're hiding, that you're, that's what makes the difference. Some of you definitely have a lot of people that try to get your attention with vibes like this. But this is, remember that scam that was going on where they would have a woman with car troubles on the side of the road, and if someone would stop, then people would come out of the bushes? It's kind of like that energy when it comes to you Capricorn. Some of y'all had to learn the hard way that there are ways you can help, there are ways you can be of assistance without having to get all that sort of close and personal with somebody. Those of you dating, some of you could have had an instance where you showed up on a date and you could have got robbed. So it's the class of people, it's who you're dealing with, the choices that you're making. Some of you probably did fuck around in some energy that really wasn't the best for you until you kind of established this this sort of knowledge, this sort of knowing that you kind of have to learn. Everyone wants to be your friend, everyone wants to date you, everyone wants to be in your energy, but everyone always leaves with more than what they came in with. Those of you that pay for good dinners, those of you that pay for the food, those of you that pay for the liquor, right? Damn Cappies. That's kind of like the general energy, though. It's like accomplishments, but are they can go negative, they can stay positive. But it's that continual sort of back and forth. I definitely see that you have plenty of opportunities for relationships or partnerships, but are you really looking at who leaves the relationship or partnership with far more than they came in with? And is that an established pattern with somebody? Work, love, life vibes when it comes to you, Capricorn. So this is getting over the over-romanticizing shit and actually looking at it from more of a business perspective. Who has codependency on their karmics? Because that's an energy that's always going to be in that relationship or partnership. Those of you even with the people that you deal with on a business level, right? So it's not just dealing with them, it's the sort of connections that they have. The simpler you keep it, the better off you are. 3 or more is a little bit more of a... that's like questionable energy. Friends, family, lovers, all that sort of vibe, right? 2 is a comfortable relationship or partnership. Once you add that third into the mix, it changes the whole fucking dynamic of something. Dichotomy keeps wanting to come out. So, you know what I mean with you Capricorns? Hi. This is like that old-fashioned, that old, it's a Martina McBride song. She's got friends of hers calling friends of his, and he's nowhere to be found. So what's with all this attention on you, and why is everybody else kind of in this vibe as well? Take your time. Focus on you. Don't try to fill those voids. Especially those of you that's looking at your relationships or partnerships and realizing how you were always the one that people left you in far good energy than they ever come in with. So you get a lot of opportunists that show up in many different ways. But what is their codependencies? Some of you, when it comes to those emotional connections, who has all those karmic ties with exes? Because that's an energy that's going to follow you around for a long time too. This is actually looking at things from a smart business perspective too. Everyone wants a fancy sports car, but when you hear the people that have those fancy sports cars talk about the maintenance on them, whether they're running or not, or how much it costs even for a fucking oil change. What is it, the Bugatti? The tires are like $5,000 a piece, and you have to change them every 3,000 miles. It's not that you can't afford it, but it's the cost of maintenance. Don't let your emotions overwhelm you, no. Someone can't take advantage because you're not paying attention. You're not allowing your emotions to overwhelm you. You're not allowing your emotions to help you make shitty decisions. You're actually being more realistic. You've been in this energy for quite a while, so... a lot of you, when you're doing the work, it's not like you get a resolution and then, damn, it's over with. You move on to the next. A lot of you are still dealing with all these sort of questions, all these sort of options, all these opportunities. It's a very interesting vibe. You have your choices. You can take what's yours, leave what's not. So definitely watch your favorite astrologer or whatever you used for guidance, Capricorns. I think some of you could use sports. Some of you could be, you could like TED Talks. You could do like audio books, the music that you listen to, whatever your inspiration is, Capricorn. Yeah, as long as you maintain those sort of healthy balances. Loving yourself, giving to yourself, and not trying to fill those emotional voids with just relationships or partnerships. Because you always come up as being like the perfect opportunity. But at the same time, you've got the opportunist there. That's like the gold, right? Those of you that buy a lot of jewelry, those of you that pay for the dinners, those of you that really good concert tickets, you could have seats to games or the opera or whatever the fuck your choice is on that. Eight of Swords there with the Libra energy. You're going to know when the balance isn't right. Capricorn, some of you, I don't know your fucking life, but some of you need to maintain those healthy boundaries. Because some of y'all deal with people they deal with people that are shady as fuck. So there's that energy. If someone's watching you, someone's watching them watching you. Clean up that energy around you. Queen of Pentacles, there's the Moon. Yeah. This is all the false pretenses people coming under too. Those of you, be mindful if you are dating. Those of you, be mindful. Who's the one that puts hot sauce in the condom so that way they can't get like taken advantage of? There's some interesting vibes here. So Capricorns, make sure that you pay attention to what you need to be paying attention to. That's how a lot of you are able to move away from those karmic relationships or partnerships. Some of you deal with this on more of a daily basis. I mean, depending upon what you do for work, depending upon how you show up in the world. Some of you continually deal with kind of lower vibrational or just opportunistic energies. So some of this should be basically second nature. It should be something that you take into consideration. Those of you with any relationship or partnerships, you know the reality of something. Or you have somebody you can discuss that with, so you know the realities of something. Any of you that work in a company where you have to disclose if you're dating somebody, that way there's that sort of knowledge being brought forth. Those of you, if you're in a Hierophant position, you don't need to be mixing your romantic life with your work life anyway. Cappies, there's the Magician, there's the Fool. Once you start making those smart choices, there's really not a whole lot of work that you need to do. There's really not a whole lot of anything you need to worry or concern yourself with. So make sure that you're aware of what you need to be aware of. You're looking at the realities of whatever relationship or partnership you're dealing with, instead of just the over rosy. Oh, they love me. Yeah, they loved all those other people too. And look at the connections that they still have with their exes. What's the financial obligations? What's the financial sort of vibe here? So that way you don't get taken advantage of. Capricorn. Take what's yours, Capricorn, leave what's not. This is that sort of accomplished energy, and it can be messy if you choose it to be messy. Capricorns, a lot of you have those stuck stagnant relationships or partnerships around you just because people want to figure out how to get one over on you. Some of y'all, that's just the normal like work vibes. So if you're in a very competitive type job, the work you do is very competitive, then your relationships or partnerships are always going to have that sort of competitive vibe to it. Especially if you're a salesperson. Those of you, if you're wanting that promotion. Some of you, if you're the one that runs the fucking company, you've always got that sort of competitive vibe. Everyone wants to upgrade. So, you know, the assistants always want to be the managers. The managers always want to be a district manager. The district manager eventually wants to run the whole fucking company, right? There's always that built-in sort of competitive vibe. Capricorn, I think a lot of people take your generosity or your sort of, when you try to help or you try to give assistance, some people can maybe see that as being a little bit of a weakness when it comes to you. So I think some of you are definitely working on trying to be a little bit more compassionate or trying to understand the dynamics of something to bring that balance in. It could maybe sometimes come across as being a little bit, I don't want to say condescending, but, you know, it's like if you try to do something, you try to understand something, and you try to help or give assistance, it might seem a little fake. But if you're not used to coming in that energy, that's what makes the difference as well. It's always like work and love with you. So Capricorns, hopefully more of you are learning to separate those two. And even if you get into a business relationship, partnership with someone close to you, make sure you have contracts in place so that way you know how it goes. Some of you, once you get into business with somebody, the friendship, you probably start distancing yourself so that way you don't allow that messiness to get in. Capricorn, some of you probably aren't going to get married or aren't going to concern yourself with marriage anytime soon either, because you realize that's just a business contract. You will gladly be in a relationship and love somebody and do everything else that energy encompasses. But if it comes down to the marriage certificate, yeah, some of you, that just isn't going to happen. Especially if you've been there, done that, or you're dealing with somebody who's been there, done that on one or more occasions. I mean, you're not a dumbass. And that ain't got shit to do with love. That's a business contract. If it's not marriage, some of you, when you're dealing with people close to you, you have that contract in place. So that way you know you've established the boundaries in that relationship or partnership. How it goes. So you're either learning and growing or you're stuck, Capricorn. The stuck energy is just basically a repeat of the same old, same old. So, I mean, you've already read that book. You've already listened to that audio tape. You've watched that video 500 times. So you know exactly how it goes. You know exactly how it's going to end. So those of you that's switching things up, whether this is your energy, Capricorn, or those that want to come towards you, you have a lot of people that want to come back in to like get that second chance. But some of you, it's just because they've went off and they figured out where your vulnerabilities are. They figured out how they could take even more advantage. And even if this isn't taking advantage of you, who has taken advantage of other past partners? How much codependency do they have on anyone that they've dealt with in the past? Those of you, if someone's been there and done that, they're far more educated in how things go. So if someone's been through a divorce, they know how things work. So that's definitely something that you should be mindful of moving forward. That's just straight ass common sense. Especially if you haven't been in that energy, that's not something that you've dealt with. But someone who has, they know like the time frames of things. Look at everything from a business perspective, and you'll be happier. But for some of you, once you start doing that, the people that you deal with are going to notice, and they're not going to be able to play this sort of fuckery energy. It's a fertile vibe, so y'all be mindful of that too. This is genderless. There are just as many women that's in this energy. I mean, there's just as many women that ain't going to get married again. There's just as many women who's paying fucking palimony. Especially nowadays, right? This feels like an accomplished energy with you, Capricorn. So pay attention to your favorite business person. So this is kind of you choose. It's always your choice. So once you choose that partnership or that relationship, if you're not aware, you don't pay attention to that, then maybe it's time you pay attention to that. If someone's watching you, someone's watching them watching you. So Capricorn, some of you could be getting some secondary jealous vibes being sent your way. And these are people that you don't even have to know. If someone likes you and they're watching everything you do, and then they got someone that's going through their phone or checking out where they've been, that's watching them to see what the hell they're doing. Some of you could be dealing with very insecure partners or people who have insecure partners. Even as far as a work vibe goes on this Capricorn, right? If you're out there, maybe you got your resumes out there. Maybe some of you are getting the opportunity. Maybe you're taking lunches with people to bring in better opportunities. You could be hiring. You could be figuring out who you want to work with if you want to expand. If someone's watching you, someone's watching them watching you. But don't take on that energy. A lot of this I don't feel like is even your energy, Capricorn. Some of you, baby mama, baby daddy drama. What's the codependency that someone has on their exes? Because that's going to follow that relationship through. Definitely something to consider. Not something to take lightly. Definitely a lot of secondary vibes. And you don't always need to know if someone's watching you and someone's watching them watching you. Those that's in insecure relationships or partnerships, those that have to sneak around and look at what their partner's doing because they don't trust them. Capricorns, you're going to deal with somebody that's going to make that a point. Do you trust me? And some of you are going to have to answer that truthfully. And you really should answer that truthfully. There should be no... there should be full transparency with who you're dealing with. Some of you, you should, just because that's just you'd be a fool not to. You'd really be a fool not to. So I mean, I love your energy, Capricorn. It's whatever the fuck you want. It's whatever whatever vibe you're interested in. If you're looking for resolutions, you should have them. If not, then wait until you get the clarity that you need. Everything you do should have full transparency to it. I mean, it really should have full transparency to it. Who or what's your voice of reason? Love is great. Love is good. Get out there and get into relationships or partnerships if you're feeling it. But definitely maintaining those healthy boundaries. Avoiding overly codependent relationships or partnerships. Or being very mindful of those connections. Some of you, what connections do they have to X energy? So, are you just another opportunity for an opportunist to come in? People put a lot of time, energy, and effort to get an opportunity with you. These are usually the ones that walk away with far more than what they went in with. Some of you, a lot of people want to be your future ex. Yo, that used to be a joke. I forget what movie had it in. The first time you heard it, right? Oh, that's my future ex-partner. Nowadays, that's like for some people, that's a business transaction. They always go out with far more than what they came in with. And if that's a reality, then figure it the fuck out. Who's your voice of reason as well? Those of you, when it comes to the work that you do, now's not the time for you to get messy. Some of you avoid those people who are kind of messy when it comes to that. Things are changing up. Some of you, depending upon the work that you do. So there's going to be a lot of downsizing, a lot of things changing, people having to take on different sort of vibes. Do be mindful of that. A lot of this should basically be common sense. Who are you dealing with, and what's their sort of codependencies, and what's the vibes in which they kind of come into your life? Knight of Cups, the Ten of Wands. It's either bringing a problem or it's removing problems. This is like obstacles. It's whatever the fuck, Capricorn. It's that continual energy. This is like BMW vibes. So, damn. Some of you, it's the maintenance of something. It's the maintenance of something. You ever hear those car people talk about those beautifully exotic cars that they have? But what is it, Ferraris, to like change the oil? They got to take the whole fucking engine out. Yeah, it always comes down to the same thing with you, Capricorn. This is good retrograde vibes. Some of you, this is just smart life vibes. Looking at things from a more different perspective. Removing your emotions when it comes to decision making, or those of you not letting that sort of wrap up into whatever it is that you're doing. So you don't have to say it's not personal, it's business. If it's a business relationship or partnership, it's a business relationship or partnership. If it's an interpersonal relationship or partnership, then it's an interpersonal relationship or partnership. Definitely some clear boundaries. Someone wants you to kind of juggle, or someone wants you to kind of be stuck in that energy. It's imperative that you don't. So who wants to kind of change the dynamic of a relationship or partnership without you really knowing? You choose your codependencies. You choose who is dependent upon you. You choose who is connected to you. And as long as you remember that you have that choice, you make smarter choices. Those of you, when it comes to come back around energy, someone just wants to come back in because they figured out a different way to fuck you over. So just keep that in mind. Especially if someone didn't feel like they got what they were expecting with that relationship or partnership. People tend to move away. People tend to pull out of your energy once they've gotten what they've come in for. So, fuck the sentimentality on some of these relationships or partnerships and really look at it from a business perspective. Marriage certificate is just a business contract. That don't mean you love somebody. That just means, hey, they get half your shit. It's your fucking choice. It's your choice. Those of you remember, it's your choice in relationships or partnerships too. So, someone keeps going into failed relationships or partnerships, yet they seem to come out of them pretty good. Then that's a choice that they're making. Establish those healthy boundaries. I love this for you, Capricorns. It's only shit if you want it to be shit. It's only karmic if you keep going back to the same relationships or partnerships thinking that something's different. Some of you, that can be like the merry-go-round vibes. Some of you, this is like bringing that balance in. This is also like elevation energy. Like the BMW logo. Take what's yours, Cappies, leave what's not. General vibe. Keep making smart choices. Keep playing in that energy that brings you positive vibes. You're like the one. You're like the opportunity. So do be mindful of this. This does feel like a prize energy, like a Nobel Prize. The Peabody. What is your focus? What's important to you? What is it all about when it comes to you? And getting those accomplishments. Those of you get rewarded for the smarter choices that you make. Everything is basically, look at it from like a business perspective. When it comes to your emotional connections, that's a little different, but it's an emotional connection and not a financial obligation. So keep that shit separate. Some of you are learning to keep that shit separate. So, you know, whatever your journey is about, it's accomplished energy. It's making smart choices. A lot of you, you're constantly having to decide. So just take your time with something. You're going to be just fine. X energy, some of you, someone's just coming back around because they don't feel like they accomplished enough. So that should be what you're used to with your relationships or partnerships. Yeah. Some of y'all, now's the time to just say no until you figure out what the hell the vibe is. Those of you, when it comes to whatever the hell it is you do for work, pay attention to the energy, see where the changes are. There's everything is constantly changing. So paying attention to that, being far more forward thinking too. So you're probably not going to be making any major investments when it comes to something. Capricorn, some of you have probably started being frugal just because. There's more of a groundedness when it comes to you too. So you could be paying more attention to things that you need to. This could read as dramatic. So those of you Capricorns that don't kind of subscribe to the fear-mongering vibes as well, I feel like you get like, it can go either way with you. Some of you deal with a lot of people that try to present that energy with you. So, I don't know, Capricorns. If someone gives you an ultimatum, I don't think they're going to like the choice that you're going to make. Because I think you can definitely say, bye. So, damn. Sweet Jesus. Well, that does make sense with that judgment vibe. This is like Gabriel energy. Come on and blow, Gabriel, blow. Blow, Gabriel, blow. Cappies, good luck, God bless. Like, share, subscribe, take what's yours, leave what's not. That's kind of the general energy when it comes to you, Capricorn. Whether you're Capricorn, whether you're doing the shadow work, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Some of you, it's definitely learning to compartmentalize. Compartmentalize. A lot of you could definitely be downsizing or just being more frugal because it does make more sense. I don't know. I feel like you're making smart moves, and that's what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference. This is definitely beautiful big city vibes. So, Capricorn, some of you could get the opportunity to travel. Take the opportunity to travel. Good luck, God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Take what's yours, Cappies. Leave what's not. I like that. Nice, relaxed. Keep compartmentalizing. Keep making smart choices. Whatever your guidance is. Sports, TED Talks, whatever that is. You've tapped into something that's a good guide for you. Stay focused on it. Peace, love, and light.